Here we go with another Christmas in July challenge video. This challenge is hosted by Mama Mia DIY, Melissa Make It DIY, and Little Treasures by Nancy. Their channel links, along with the playlist link, will be in my description box down below. Please go and check everybody out and see what they've made. Get some inspiration for the upcoming season. Let's start crafting. I'm starting out with this drawer type thing. It was in like a chest, and it was in the top part, and it could come out. So what I'm first going to do is take it all apart, take off that handle, and then we're going to fill in those little holes with some spackling. After that's all dry, we're going to take our little hand sander and sanding block, and we're going to give this a really good sanding. It was pretty glossy paint, so I wanted to scuff it up a bit so that the paint I'm going to use will stick a lot better. After that's done, we're going to paint the entire thing with my sheepskin home decor chalk paint, made by Folk Art. I printed off this image and some words off of my computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tape all the words down. I'm using painter's tape, but you can use any tape you want. That's just what I had on hand. Then, taking a piece of carbon paper, I'm going to slide it under my words, and with a pen, trace over them, transferring my image onto my board. You could do this with a Cricut. You could do this freehand. You can do this where you take your pencil, scribble on the back, turn it over and trace over it. It'll transfer the image as well. Now, taking off all the little pieces of papers, and revealing my wording on the board. I'm going to go over all the wording with my green paint marker. It's got a fine tip, but it was super picky that day, didn't want to come out, but I got it to work. I'm just going to slowly go over it all, tracing it, bringing out those words. If you hear squeaking, I'm in my rocking chair outside, and it squeaks when I rock. Taking the image, I'm going to add some Mod Podge onto the back of the image, place it onto my project, smooth it down with my fingers, and then we're going to Mod Podge over top of it, ensuring that it sticks. Using some Christmas ribbon, I'm going to hot glue it to the side, and we're going to go across the top, hot glue it to the other side, and then we're going to do a strip down the side, right there. You can omit the ribbon if you don't want it, it's all good. Taking my piece, I'm going to lay it on top of this burlap-y fabric, fancy fabric, don't know what it's called. Trace around it and cut it out with my scissors. I don't know what you call that. I didn't realize I showed you me cutting the entire thing. Sorry. Now, taking that piece of fabric, we're flipping our project over and we're going to hot glue it to the back side of it, giving it a nice back. That way you're not seeing all those little cabin there, drawer parts, whatever you want to call that. Now, using a piece of jute rope, we're going to tie a knot in both ends, lining it up where there's board on the back side, and using the staple gun, we're going to staple it into place, giving us a hanger so we can hang this. If you don't put the backing on, you've got those openings to use as a hanger, but I liked covering it up. Now, I'm going to use my sanding block and give it a good distressing all around the edges, focusing on the corners that are showing, going over top, just lightening everything up a bit, and when you're done that, this is done. Excuse me. I love it. I love the saying, because it's not what's under the tree that matters, it's who's around it, and that's a truthful saying. Next craft. I have a rock, a fairly good size rock. Using my Imperial Red, I think is what it's called, Folk Art chalk paint, I'm going to paint the top side of this rock with this color. You can go as big of a circle as you want, small of a circle as you want, whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your fancy. Using a white paint marker, I'm going to go around the red that we painted on, and I go around twice, giving it a nice thick border. Using the same paint marker, we're going to write on our words, and then I also add in some snowflakes. And when you're done that, this little project is done too. Fast and easy, don't blink, you might miss it. If you're new to my channel, I'd like to say welcome. Sure hope you decide to stick around and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Always so happy to see you and read your comments in my section. Last craft. Taking some felt, red felt, and a sock that my mom made. I'm going to trace around it. I folded the felt in half so it's doubled up. I'm going to trace around it going one way, and then I flip it over and I trace it again. So that way we have 4 pieces. And then we're going to cut them out. Can't do anything with them if you don't cut them out. Using the same fabric, I'm going to freehand a hat and cut it out. I just kind of like did a rounded peak. I don't know. I have this fabric fusion glue. Picked it up at Walmart, and this is what I was going to try to use to glue everything together. And I'm just going all along the edges. I do both socks and I do the hat. And it worked really well. You gotta let it dry for a bit and let it wait to dry, but I really liked how it worked. Found some of my furry ribbon stuff. We're going to wrap it around the top of both socks, making sure not to close up the part at the top there where you would put your foot in. Making sure not to close that part up. And just using some hot glue, I'm going to wrap it around and tack it into place. I do both socks this way. And then I take the hat and I wrap it around the brim of the hat, giving it a nice fuzzy brim. And doing the exact same thing, just hot glue and gluing it into place. Then I take another little piece and I wrap it around the tip of the hat, giving it a nice fuzzy pom-pom. Santa's hat has to have a nice fuzzy pom-pom. I found some gold beaded garland. I'm going to hot glue a piece into the corner of the sock. And then I hot glue it some more to make sure it stays. And I'm going to cut some of it off. I do that to the other sock as well. Now, I found this board. It's called bead board, V-groove board. It's 6 inches wide. I'm going to paint the entire thing with Adirondack white. Taking some lettering that I printed off my computer. Going to tape it down, and again, using carbon paper and a pen, I'm going to trace over my image, transferring it to my board. And I do this 3 times along the board. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Whichever way you want to say it. Ho, ho, ho. Like that. After that's done, I trace over it with a black paint marker. Bringing out my edges so I can see it better for when I paint it. Because then I use my black chalk paint and paint it all in. Paint, paint, paint away. I like painting sometimes. It's kind of relaxing. Sit there and listen to something, whether it be music or whatever you like to watch, and you just listen to it, and you just paint and paint, and the time flies by. I didn't realize I kept all that in. Taking the same beaded garland, I've got a red and a gold. I'm going to take the red first, staple it onto the back, and then I do the same thing to the gold. What am I doing? Bring your, oh, I had to nail it in, hammer it in a bit, because it was sticking out. Taking the gold, I'm going to do the same thing, and then I also put a staple further up towards the top to hold it into place there. And I do that to both sides. I just bring it over and do it again. Now that that's done, and that's our hanger, we're going to take the same beads, same kind of beads, and we're just going to kind of wrap it on an angle on the side, or you can wrap it whichever way you want. You can wrap it straight. You can use different kinds of, you don't have to use beads. You can use the ribbon. You can use really anything. Christmas balls, whatever you want. And I'm just hot gluing it into place. Now, taking these socks, I'm going to, the beaded ribbon that we glued onto the sock, I'm going to wrap it around one of the parts that are going sideways there. That's hard to explain. I tied it into a knot, and then I'm going to hot glue that little knot together and hot glue the sock to the board. On this side, because I didn't have anything to tie it to, I hot glued it down first. Then I tied it into a knot onto itself and hot glued the knot down. Along with the sock, I hot glued it into place as well. I enjoyed making these. Even though it's July, I enjoyed making these. Now, using the Santa hat, we're going to place it on the corner at the top. And with a bunch of glue, we're going to hot glue it down. And then because oh, no, first I'm taking some Christmas balls. And we're going to fill the stockings. And I used some hot glue to keep them in place, because if I wouldn't have, they would have fallen all the way through the sock, down to the bottom. And I wanted them to show. I didn't want them in the bottom. And you can use this however many you want, whatever size you want. I use this size and a smaller size, different colors. I just cut off the little stringy that was on them and then glue them into place. Now, because when you picked it up, the hat would flop a bit, I'm taking a skewer stick, adding some hot glue to it, and I'm just going to shove it up into the peak, glue it there, and it seemed to hold it so it wouldn't flop. And here's my project. I love it. Can't wait to use it. Hope you like it too. I would like to thank the ladies for hosting this Christmas challenge. I had fun making Christmas stuff. I would like to thank everybody for watching. If you're new, please subscribe, like this video. Don't forget that bell. If you're a returning subscriber, hey! I hope everybody has a wonderful day. We'll see you again next time. Bye!